And then I'm going to press play.
Okay.
Okay, so my name is Stephanie, and I did my Pecha Kucha presentation on using 3D Max as a tool for interior design. So just a little bit of general information. 3D Max was begun in 1995, and then Autodesk took over the program. It's very commonly used in video game development, and it's becoming a little bit more streamlined into the design field. So this is a picture of the main interface for 3D Max. When you open the file, this is what you'll find. It's a screen that shows three basically drafting screens and then one perspective view. And then down here is showing the animation. And what's useful about that is you can actually do a walkthrough of a space. Now, typically in terms of modeling, when I say modeling, a lot of people think of this, which is mass modeling. And this is a technique used by both architecture and interior design in order to show how a space would look. So it's just showing the block of a space rather than showing the details, in order to demonstrate either how something fits into a space or how something would fit into a landscape. This slide is depicting a hand rendering, and hand rendering is something that is very typically used by interior design and has been for a number of years. It's great either to show detail or as well to do a quick sketch and a quick show to a client to add some color. Now, what we typically use in 3D modeling is polygon modeling, and what that means is using polygons, which are defined as a flat shape consisting of straight lines that are joined to form a closed circuit. So within 3D Max, you can actually select either the full object, which is this one here, the surface itself, or the edges or vertices. What this enables us to do is actually be able to morph an object to make it a little bit more organic, rather than sticking with boxy shapes. So basically what you can do is, using these handles here, pull things out. And a lot of people do claim that 3D modeling produces very boxy images. I've heard some of my friends make this comment while we've been doing work in AutoCAD. And typically that is what used to be true, and this is why I'm such a big fan of 3D Max, is they do enable you to create forms that are more organic. So a spline is a popular curve to use. It's another way to do modeling, using splines and extrusions. And it's another way that creates a more organic flowing shape. So splines are useful because of the simplicity of their construction. They're another way of modeling using curves to create that same organic shape and using mathematics. So curves are something that are found in nature quite frequently. Forms are often flowing, like this picture of flowing water here. And in architecture and interior design historically, shapes have been more structured and more boxy because of restrictions of materials at the time, or as well as restrictions of how we are able to envision things. But with the advent of 3D modeling, we can actually play around with shapes and envision shapes in a whole new way, enabling us to create shapes like this, which are more flowing, more free form, and more organic looking. If these shapes appear in nature, they should appear in our work as well. So light is another important thing to consider when you're looking at 3D modeling. Obviously, no scene is going to look realistic or true to life if you don't have the proper lighting. And this became extremely clear to me when I first started playing around with the software. You can have perfect materials, perfect model, but if you don't get the right lighting down, you've got nothing. So this is a scene from 3D Max, and what this is actually showing is a sun system. What's great about this is you're able to put in systems called MR-Sun, which stands for Metraway. It's a renderer, and it actually enables you to simulate the position of the sun at any given point. This picture here shows a rendering of just the sun coming in through the windows. There's no added light. What this is doing is actually showing how realistically, in the real world, this actual house would look in this actual room. Now, why is that so important? Green architecture and green design is becoming more and more common and more important. And what being able to adjust sun angles prior to building a building would help us do would be enabling us to actually create a realistic version and understand how light would affect the space before it's built. And this would enable us to use sun angles more to light buildings. Now, also to talk about materials, which is another important aspect when you're looking at 3D modeling. 3D Max actually enables you to customize materials. So what that means is you can create a material that looks exactly like it would in reality. So if you wanted to create a desk that's made out of wood, you can create that same desk. How you do that is by using something called a bump map, and what that enables you to do is mimic the texture that you would see in reality if you took a picture of a table of wood or of this brick here, and actually put the bumpiness into the object. Now it is just a simulation. You can also set up cameras, and one thing that I personally like is being able to create something and then change my mind about it. So by being able to set up cameras around the model, I can change my mind about the view and just take another picture. It's not a big deal. Whereas if I'm doing a hand rendering and I make a mistake, I'm in trouble. Accuracy is really important to me, and I like things to be as precise as possible. That's what I love about 3D modeling. There's no margin for error other than human error, which is in everything, but a computer is a lot more accurate than, say, my hand. I trust a computer more than I trust my drawing skills. So this is just another picture depicting an interior scene. I like the way the sun comes in on this, and basically I just wanted to talk about 3D Max as a tool for modeling and a tool for interior design. It is something that's becoming more common in our industry, and as well they're able to produce things like walkthroughs of a space, which gives a client a really good idea of what the space would be like. Obviously this isn't something that we'd use for a small budget project, but if you're looking at major offices or major hotel chains and the client really wants an idea of what things are going to look like, what better way to find out?